All right, let's get right to it. Today, we're not going to get lost in abstract threats or complex code. We're going to talk about something much more tangible, the real hard-dollar business impact of an AI security failure. We're here to figure out what it truly costs your organization when things go wrong.
So, just imagine for a second you get that call. Your shiny new AI lending system, the one you invested millions in, well, it worked exactly as it was designed to. And that's precisely the problem. Now you're facing down regulatory investigations, class action lawsuits, and a brand crisis that's going to stick around for years. This isn't some science fiction scenario. This is the financial reality that businesses are dealing with right now.
So why do these AI failures hit so much harder than, say, a traditional IT breach? Well, it all comes down to something we call the cascade effect. See, a single vulnerability in an AI model doesn't just stay put. It's like a virus that spreads through the entire business, setting off multiple fires, operational, legal, financial, all at the exact same time.
And here's how that cascade builds. It all starts with one single technical model vulnerability. But almost instantly, that kicks off operational disruption. Then, of course, the regulators get involved, and they bring fines. Next up, the lawsuits and the legal liability. And all the while, your company's reputation is taking a massive, very public nosedive. It's a multi-front crisis that explodes from a single point of failure.
So, to really wrap our heads around this risk, we've got to break it down. The total financial exposure isn't just one big, scary number. It's actually the sum of 5 distinct and, importantly, measurable cost categories. Let's take a look at each one. First up, regulatory fines. And let me tell you, the entire landscape here has changed. With the EU AI Act, we're talking about penalties up to 35 million euros. Or, get this, a staggering 7% of your global annual revenue for using AI in prohibited ways. And if you think these are just theoretical numbers, just look at how regulators have enforced things like GDPR. They are absolutely ready to issue massive billion-dollar fines.
Okay, next is legal liability. And this is often where the costs can spiral even higher than the regulatory penalties. A single class action lawsuit for AI-driven discrimination, yeah, that can easily end in a settlement north of $10 million. And even if you win the case, the legal fees just to defend yourself can run into the million.
And then you have the damage that just keeps on giving, your reputation. The harm from an AI failure is uniquely painful. You know, a headline that says, "This company's AI is biased." That really sticks around. Remember Amazon's recruiting AI that was biased against women? That was years ago, and it's still the #1 example people use. This kind of negative press doesn't just fade away in a few months like a data breach might. It can poison your brand for up to 5 years.
So let's just recap these 5 forces we have at play. You've got massive regulatory fines, incredibly expensive lawsuits, long-term brand damage, immediate operational chaos, and of course, the hidden opportunity cost of stalled projects. You put them all together, and that's what creates the total, absolutely devastating financial impact. And let's be perfectly clear about something. The numbers we're about to look at, these aren't just some analyst's projections or a forecast of what might happen. No. This is based on the documented financial fallout of real-world incidents. This is the receipt for what happens when AI security gets pushed to the back burner. Just take a look at this data from recent incidents. A model theft, right? The direct cost was $18 million in training expenses. But the total impact? A $180 million loss in company valuation. Or how about a bias discrimination case? A $28 million settlement, which led to $400 million in lost enterprise deals. The pattern here is, well, it's undeniable. And here is the crucial point, the one thing you really need to take away from this. If you are only focusing on the direct, immediate cost of an incident, you are missing the vast, vast majority of the financial damage. The total business impact is consistently 5 to 15 times higher. Focusing on that initial number is like seeing the tip of the iceberg and completely ignoring the mountain of ice right below the surface. Okay, so that's the scale of the problem. It's big, it's scary, I get it. But now, let's pivot. Let's talk about the solution. Because there is an incredibly powerful financial case to be made for being proactive about AI security. It's all about what we call the prevention payback. Just look at the math here. The cost to clean up after a single major incident ranges anywhere from $17 million to over $190 million. Now compare that to the cost of a comprehensive, proactive AI security program. We're talking just $1 to $3 million a year. When you see the numbers side by side like this, the choice becomes pretty simple, doesn't it?
And all of that leads to this incredible figure. If your AI security program prevents even one significant incident over the next few years, you've achieved a return on investment that can top 5,000%. This isn't a cost center, folks. This is one of the highest ROI investments your business can possibly make.
Now, before we jump into the action plan, we have got to tackle a really dangerous misconception we hear all the time in the boardroom. And that's the idea that if an AI model is accurate, then it must be secure. That is completely 100% false. A model can be 99.9% accurate and still be wide open to having its intellectual property stolen, its data exfiltrated, or being taken offline by a denial of service attack. Accuracy and security are two totally separate disciplines.
So, you get the risk, you see the massive ROI, what do you actually do next? Well, this last section is all about giving you some tangible tools you can take back to your organization and start using literally tomorrow.
First thing, use a tool like this business impact scoring matrix. Seriously, in your next risk meeting, start plotting your AI threats on this grid. It's a prompt injection attack, where a bad actor tricks your AI. Is that likely or possible? Is the business impact medium or is it high? This simple visual turns a bunch of abstract fears into a concrete, prioritized list that you can actually discuss and make decisions on.
Second, when you go to ask for budget, please don't bring a 50-page slide deck. Bring this, a one-page briefing that clearly lays out, here's the highest probability event and its financial impact. Here's the highest impact event, and then it contrasts your current spending with the budget required to get to a truly defensible posture. It's simple, it's powerful, and it speaks the language that business leaders understand.
And here's your roadmap. You can start this week. Do a quick exposure assessment. Just ask the question, what's our worst-case AI failure, and what would it cost us? Use the answer to that to build your business case over the next 90 days. Then, over the next year, you can implement the controls and, this is the most important part, start tracking the incidents you've avoided and the ROI you're delivering back to the business.
So let's wrap this up with a quick summary. First, remember those 5 dimensions of cost. Second, know that the total impact is way, way bigger, 5 to 15 times bigger than the initial direct cost. Third, understand that the ROI on prevention is absolutely massive. And finally, use the toolkit we just talked about, the matrix and the one-pager, to build your business case and actually drive action.
So I'll leave you with this one critical question to take back to your team. If our main AI system failed, and I mean catastrophically tomorrow, what would the financial impact be in the first year? If you can't answer that question with a specific dollar amount, then you are flying blind on what is probably one of the biggest financial risks your organization faces today. Find that number, because once you have it, you'll know exactly where to begin. Thanks for your time.